Dr. M. P. Jayaraman is an assistant professor in mathematics in L.N. Government College, Poneri. He has specialized on geometric function theory. With 14 years of teaching experience, he has handled topics on probability and queuing theory, discrete mathematics, random process, and engineering mathematics. Being a recognized supervisor for guiding PhD and MS students of Anna University, he is the reviewer of the journal Computer Mathematics and Applications. He has also written books on discrete mathematics and has also published papers in 28 international publications, in 4 national publications, and has presented papers in 2 international and in 2 national conferences.
Welcome you all for UGC lecture series in mathematics. The main objective of this session is to obtain a critical path with the help of floats of each and every activity of a given network diagram. We are interested in finding floats of each and every activity. There are 3 types of float. The first one is total float of activities, the second one is free float, and the third one is independent float. An activity is said to be critical if the starts of an activity is delay. Due to this, the whole completion time of a project becomes delay. So, an activity of this delay in starting activity cause the delay in completion of the project. Such a activity is said to be critical activity. On the other hand, in a non-critical activity, the time between latest finishing time and earliest finishing time is more than the actual durations. In other words, the latest finishing time and minus the earliest starting time of the event I minus j is called slack of the event or float of the event. So, a float of the event is nothing but the difference between latest time and the earliest time. So, for an activity I j, L minus E is called slack time of the event or float of the event. In a critical activity, for any activity I j, the following conditions are true. The earliest starting time is equal to latest starting time and earliest finishing time is equal to latest finishing time, and the difference between earliest finishing time and earliest starting time should be equal to the difference between the latest finishing time and latest starting time. This quantity should be equal to the actual duration normal time. So, these 3 conditions are true for the activity I j to lie in a critical path. Therefore, in critical path we have no float. So, in a critical path we do not have any float. In general, the float value of any event I j is nothing but the difference between latest time and earliest time. Now, let me define total float. A total float of an activity is defined as the difference between latest finish and the earliest finish of the activity, or the difference between the latest starting time or the earliest starting time. So, a total float denoted by TF is nothing but the difference between latest finishing time, we denote latest finishing by LF, and earliest finish we will denote this by EF. So, a total float is LF minus EF, the difference between latest finish and earliest finish, or the difference between latest start and earliest start. So, this quantity is denoted by total float of an activity. The total float of an activity is the amount of time by which the particular activity may be delayed without affecting the duration of the whole project. So, in general, total float of any activity is nothing but the time which is delayed without affecting the duration of the whole project. Such a time is called total float. The next idea is free float. Free float of an activity is that portion of the total float which can be rescheduled in that activity without affecting the succeeding activity. So, free float of an activity is portion of the total float which can be delayed, which can be rescheduled in such a way that without affecting the succeeding activity. So, mathematically a free float of an activity ij is equal to total float of the activity ij minus L minus E of the event j. Therefore, a free float of an activity is denoted by total float minus slack of the head event j. So, total float minus slack of the head event j is denoted by free float. The next idea is independent float of an activity is the amount of time by which an activity can be rescheduled without affecting the preceding and the succeeding activity. So, independent float of any activity ij is mathematically defined by free float of the activity ij minus latest time minus earliest time of the event I. So, independent float is denoted by if of any activity ij is nothing but free float of ij minus slack time of the tail event I, slack time of the tail event I. So, independent free float minus slack time of a tail event is nothing but independent float. So, in general for any activity our independent float should be less than or equal to free float which is less than or equal to total float. So, in general in a network diagram for any activity independent float less than or equal to free float less than or equal to total float. With this idea of total float, independent float and free float, now let us construct a network with the help of the given data. The problem is construct a project for the network whose activities are given below. The activities are 0, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 3, 6, 4, 7, 5, 7, 6, 7, and for each and every activity the corresponding normal time, the duration is given in terms of week. For this activity compute the total float, free float and independent float of each activity and hence determine the critical path and the project durations. So, the given problem is an activity with normal time is given. For this activity by constructing a network diagram for each and every activity we have to compute total float, free float and independent float. With the help of these three float we have to construct a critical path for the given network diagram. The first step in identifying the float, first we have to draw a network diagram for the given problem. The first activity is 0 to 1, the normal duration is 3 weeks. The next activity is 1 2 and 1 3. So, 1 2 1 activity, 1 3 1 activity. For the activity 1 2 the normal time is 8 weeks and for the activity 1 3 the normal time is 12 weeks. The next activity is 2 4 and 2 5. So, 2 4 there is an activity which takes 6 weeks normal time. The next activity is 2 5, therefore, 2 to 5 there is an activity which takes 3 weeks. The next activity is 3 4. So, there is a activity 3 4 which assumes 3 weeks. The next activity is 3 6. So, the next activity is 3 6 which assumes 8 weeks. So, normal duration is 8. Then the next 3 activities are 4 7, 5 7, 6 7. So, the next activities are 4 7, 5 7 and 6 7. For 4-7 the duration is 5 weeks. For 5-7 the duration is 3 weeks. For 6-7 the duration is 8 weeks. So, for the given activities and normal duration, the corresponding network diagram is this one. Now, consider this network diagram. Once we obtain the network diagram, the next idea to construct float is, for each and every activity we have to construct earliest starting time and latest starting time. We know very well, for the starting time of the project E is 0, therefore, for the node E value is 0. Then for the activity 0 to 1, for the node 1 there is only one incoming activity, therefore, earliest time for the node is 0 plus 3, which is 3. Next we have to consider the activity 1 to 2. Now, for the activity 1 to 2 there is only one incoming task is there, therefore, for the node 2 the earliest starting time is 3 plus 8, which is 11. Next we consider the node 3. For node 3 the only incoming task is 1 to 3 only, therefore, the earliest starting time for this node 3 is 3 plus 12, which is 15. Next we consider the node 6. For the node 6 the only incoming activity is 3-6, which assume 8 weeks, therefore, for node 6 the earliest starting time is 15 plus 8, which is 23. Next, for the node 5 the only incoming task is 2 to 5, which assumes 3 weeks, therefore, for node 5 the earliest starting time is 11 plus 3, which is 14. Now, we consider the node 4. For node 4 there are two incoming activities, one is from node 2, another one is from node 3. So, as far as node 4 concerned, if we consider the incoming activity as 2 4, then the normal time is 11 plus 6 17, and if we consider the incoming task 3 to 4, the activity 3 to 4, the earliest starting time is 15 plus 3 18. So, as far as node 4 concerned, the maximum is maximum of 17 and 18, which is 18, therefore, earliest starting time for the node E is 18. Now, for the final node 7, as far as the node 7 concerned, there are 3 incoming activities. One is from node 5, that is 5 to 7, another one is from node 4, that is 4 to 7, another one is from node 6, that is 6 to 7. Therefore, the earliest starting time of the node 7 is nothing but the maximum of 14 plus 3 and maximum of 18 plus 5 and maximum of 23 plus 8. So, the maximum is 23 plus 8 31. So, we obtain the earliest starting time for each and every node of the given diagram. Now, we have to construct the latest time for each and every activities. We will start with the final node. We know very well the latest time for the final node is completion time of the project. Therefore, for node 7 the latest time value is 31. Now, if we consider node 6, the only outgoing activity from node 7 to 6 is this activity 6 to 7. Therefore, for node 6 the latest starting time is 31 minus 8, which is again 23. Now, if we consider node 5, the only outgoing activities is 5 to 7 only. Therefore, for node 5 the latest starting time is 31 minus 3, which is 28. In the same way, for node 4 we can compute the latest starting time. So, for node 4 the latest starting time is 26. Now, for node 2, if we find the latest time is 20, and for node 3 the latest time is 15. Now, if we consider node 1, the two outgoing activities from node 1 is 1 to 2 and 1 to 3. So, for node 1 the latest time is the minimum of 20 minus 8 and minimum of 15 minus 12, which is 3. Therefore, for node 1 the latest time is 3 and the latest time for the starting node is 0. So, we are finding the latest time and earliest time for each and every activity of the given network. Now, with the help of this earliest time and latest time, by tabulating this value, we can calculate the floats value. So, the given problem has the activity 0 to 1, 1 to 2 and 1 to 3 etc., 6 to 7. For each activity duration is given. Just now, for each and every node, we calculate the earliest starting time. For the activity 0 to 1, for the node 0, the earliest starting time is 0. For the activity 1 to 2, the starting node 1, the earliest starting time is 3. In such a way, for each and every activity, we calculate the earliest starting time. The same way, for each and every activity, just now we calculated the latest finishing time for each and every activity. If we consider the activity 0 to 1, for the node 1, the latest finishing time is 3. Now, from the starting time, by adding duration with the starting time, we will get the earliest finishing time. Suppose if we consider the activity 0 to 1, then duration is 3, starting time is 0. If we add 3 plus 0, so which will be 3 is the earliest finishing time of the activity 0 to 1. Now, suppose if we take the activity 2 to 5, then for the activity 2 to 5, the earliest finishing time is the earliest starting time 11 plus the duration 3. So, 11 plus 3 14. In the similar way, for each and every activity, we will find the earliest finishing time. For the activity 0 to 1, it is 3. For activity 1 to 2, it is 11, 1 to 3 15, 2 4 17, 2 5 14, 3 4 18, 3 6 23, 4 7 23, 5 7 17 and 6 7 31. Now, from the latest finishing time, by subtracting the duration, we will get the latest starting time. For example, if we consider the activity 3 6, for the activity 3 to 6, the latest finishing time is 23 and the corresponding duration is 8. So, if we subtract 8 from 23, we will get the earliest starting time for that event, which is 15. In the same way, for each and every activity, we calculated the earliest starting time. Now, with the help of this earliest starting time and finishing time, latest starting time and latest finishing time, we can compute the floats value for each and every activity. Now, for the activity 0 to 1, we can compute total float. The total float formula is latest finishing time minus earliest finishing time. For example, consider the activity 0 to 1. For the activity 0 1, the latest finishing time is 3 and the earliest finishing time is 3. Therefore, total float is 3 minus 3, which is 0. Therefore, total float for the activity 0 1 is 0. Now, if we consider the activity 2 4, the total float is the difference between latest finishing time, which is 26, minus the earliest finishing time 17. So, the total float is nothing but 26 minus 17, which is 9. Now, let us consider the activity 6 7. For this activity 6 7, we will try to compute total float. The total float is difference between the latest finishing time, which is 31, minus the earliest finishing time, which is 31. So, 31 minus 31, which is 0, that is our total float. In similar way, we can find total float for each and every activity. For the activity 0 to 1, the total float is 0 and the activity 1 to 2, it is 9. For the activity 1 3, it is 0. For the activity 2 4, it is 9. For the activity 2 5, it is 14. For the activity 3 4, it is 8. Then next activity is 0. Then it is 18. For 5 7, it is 14 and the final activity 6 7 0. So, using the formula total float equal to latest finishing time minus earliest finishing time, we can compute total float of each and every activity. Now, with the help of this total float, we can compute free float for each and every activity. Suppose we consider the activity 2 4. Let us compute the free float of this activity 2 4. So, we know very well that free float of the activity 2,4 is nothing but total float of activity 2,4 minus the difference between latest time and earliest time of the head event 4. Here our head event is 4. So, for the activity 2,4, the free float is total float minus slack time of the head event 4. Now, for the activity 2,4, we compute our total float is 9. Therefore, total float of 2,4 is 9, and the slack of the node 4 is, just now we calculated, the slack time of the node 4 is 26 minus 18. So, which is 8. Therefore, free float of the activity is 1. Therefore, for the activity 2,4, the free float will be 1. Now, for the activity 2,4, the free float is total float of that activity minus slack time of the head event. The total float of that activity is 9 minus the slack time is the latest time minus earliest time of the head event 4, which is 26 minus 18. Therefore, the free float of that activity 2,4 is 1. Next, we try to compute the free float at the activity 4,7. For the activity 4,7, we try to compute free float. For the activity 4,7, the free float is nothing but total float of this activity 4,7. So, for this activity 4,7, the total float we calculated is 8. Therefore, total float is 8 minus slack of the event 4,7. So, for the activity 4,7, the head event is 7. For the head event 7, the slack is L minus E of the head event 7, L minus E of 7. Just now we calculated the LE value of the 7, which is nothing but 31, and E value also 31. Therefore, free float of the activity 4,7 is 8 minus 31, which is 8 minus 0, which is 8. Therefore, free float of each activity can be calculated in the same way. For the activity 0,1, the free float is 0, and for the activity 1,2, free float is 0. For 1,3, it is 0, and 2,4 it is 1, and 2,5 it is 0, 3,4 again 0, 3,6 0. Then for 4,7 it is 8, and for 5,7 it is 14, and for the final activity is again 0. Now, we calculated total float and free floats for each and every activity. The next idea is computing independent float for each and every activities. Now, the independent float of each and every activity, we have to compute the following value. For the event 0,1, we try to compute the independent float. We know very well the independent float of any activity is free float of that activity minus slack of the tail event I. For the activity ij, independent float is free float of that activity minus slack time of the tail event I. Now, if we consider the activity 1,2, for the activity 1,2, the free float value is 0. So, for the activity 1,2, the free float is 0 minus, now for this activity 1,2, the tail node is 1. For the node 1, the slack time is L minus E, which is 3 minus 3. So, independent float for the activity 1,2 is 0. So, for the activity 1,2, the independent float is 0. Now, we consider the activity 0,1. For this, our independent float is free float minus slack of the tail event 0. So, for the activity 0,1, the free float we calculated is 0, that is 0 minus slack time of the node 0, which is 0 minus 0, 0. Therefore, for the activity 0,1, the independent float is 0. In the same way, for each and every activity we can compute independent float. Now, for the activity 1 to 3 it is 0, for the next activity 2 to 4 it is -8, then -9, then for the remaining activity independent float is 0. So, for the given problem we calculated the total float, free float and independent float of each and every activity. Now, if we consider the total float of an activity, we consider the 0 total float only. So, the for the first activity the total float is 0, the next 0 float is here, the next 0 float is for the activity 3 to 6 and the final one is 0. So, for the activity 0 1 the total float is 0, for the activity 1 to 3 it is total float is 0, for the activity 3 6 the total float is 0, for the activity 6 7 is 0. So, now you collect all the activity which has total float as 0. Therefore, we have the activity 0 1 and 1 3 and 3 6 and 6 7. Therefore, if we collect all the activity which has total float as 0, we have the activity 0 to 1, 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 7, which is our critical path. So, in this critical path the total completion time of the project is 31. 0 total float, if we consider the critical activity, then it will be from the node 0 to 1 and 1 to 3 and 3 to 6 and 6 to 7. Now, if we consider the activity 2 4, the total float of this activity is 9, means this activity 2 4 can be delayed 9 weeks without affecting the total completion time of the project. So, total float of an activity 9 means the activity 2 4 can be delayed 9 weeks without affecting the completion time of the project. Now, for the same activity 2 4 the free float is 1, means the activity 2 4 can be delayed 1 week without affecting its succeeding activity. For 2 4 the succeeding activity is 4 7. So, the activity 2 4 can be delayed 1 week without affecting the succeeding activity 4 7. Now, for the same activity 2 4 the independent float is 8, means the activity 2 4 can be delayed that much amount of time without affecting the preceding activity and succeeding activity. Now, for the activity 2 4 the succeeding activity is 4 7 and the preceding activity is 1 2. Therefore, this activity 2 4 can be delayed without affecting the activity 4 7 and 1 2. Let me recap of the points. For each and every activity the total float is the difference between latest finishing time and earliest finishing time of each and every activity. Next idea is free float. Free float of any activity is total float of that activity minus slack time of the head event j. Next, the independent float of any activity is free float of that activity minus slack time of the tail event I. Question: a project consists of the following activities and time estimate. The activity is given and time is given. Draw the network for the given activities. Compute total float, free float and independent float, and hence determine the critical path and project durations. Thank you.